is the only lucid dreaming technique you'll ever need. So, there are literally hundreds of lucid dreaming techniques in the world, but today I'm going to teach you the last technique you'll ever need to learn. And by the end of this video, you will understand how all lucid dreaming techniques work. So what is this technique? Well, it's called DIY-ILD. Yes, I went there, I created a new ILD, but DIY-ILD is exactly what you think it would be. It's giving you the knowledge to create your own lucid dreaming technique. So I'm going to walk you step by step through how to create your own do-it-yourself lucid dreaming technique. But in order to do that, we first need to understand the two types of lucid dream. So, if we're going to create a lucid dreaming technique, we first need to decide what kind of lucid dream do we want to have. So there are two types of lucid dreams. The first is called WILD, or maintained awareness, and this is where you fall asleep, consciously, directly into a lucid dream. The second is called DILD, or regained awareness, and this is where, in the middle of a normal dream, you realize that you're dreaming. The result is going to be the same. You'll end up in a lucid dream, but the process of getting there is different. So we need our own DIY technique for both WILD and DILD. DIY-WILD. Wake-initiated lucid dreams, WILDs, or maintained awareness lucid dreams as I prefer to call them, happen when you fall asleep directly into REM. So, if we want to fall asleep directly into a dream, we first need to understand, when does dreaming sleep happen? When is the most REM? And fortunately, that's really easy to answer. Assuming you're sleeping for about 8 hours a night, the final 4 hours of your sleep are where the majority of dreaming sleep occurs. So step one in creating your own DIY-WILD is finding a way to wake up after 4 hours of sleep so that you can return to sleep and fall into a dream consciously. So there are going to be two problems you need to solve here. The first one is choosing how you're going to wake up after those 4 hours. Maybe you'll choose an alarm, maybe you'll put it down to luck and hope that you just wake up naturally, maybe you'll set an intention, but it's up to you to choose what works for you. And the second issue is timing, because you might not want to wake up after only 4 hours of sleep. You might want to experiment with maybe 5 hours or 5.5 or 6 hours. Again, this takes experimentation, but you will find a sweet spot. Step 2 in DIY-WILD is how long do you stay awake for and what do you do during that time? So there are a few things we need to establish here. Are you the kind of person who wakes up really wide awake and then struggles to get back to sleep? Because if that's the case, maybe you want to keep the waking time pretty short, but perhaps you're the sort of person who wakes up all groggy-minded and can barely think straight. In which case you might want to stay awake a little longer and do something to get your mind activated. So, the waking part of a DIY-WILD is down to you. What does your brain do? If you're someone who struggles to get back to sleep, if you're too hyper-aware, then maybe you're going to want to add some kind of relaxation technique to this process. But if you're the opposite and you find yourself really groggy, now you need to activate your brain a little. Maybe you'll want to get out of bed, do a little walk around the bed, freshen your brain up, maybe do a Sudoku puzzle or something like that. Again, discover what works for you. Be experimental. Step 3 in DIY-WILD is finding a way to maintain your awareness as you fall back to sleep directly into a dream. And this is where all WILD techniques have one thing in common: a point of focus, an anchor, something to attach your awareness to. And that point of focus, that anchor, could be almost anything. In traditional techniques, it's things like focusing on your breathing, counting, repeating a mantra in your mind, listening to music and attaching your awareness to that. There are even really obscure things like imagining wiggling your fingers like this. The possibilities for your awareness anchor are limited only by your imagination. Some people use visualization, some people imagine their body moving in ways it's not. In Tibetan Buddhism, they imagine a symbol in the center of their throat chakra. The thing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're focusing on, as long as you're maintaining your awareness gently and waiting for the dream to form. And feel free to get creative with this. It doesn't matter what you focus on as long as it helps you to maintain your awareness as you fall into sleep. So obviously, choose something which is interesting for you. Step 4 in DIY Wild is to simply repeat and experiment. Try changing the variables, try changing the timing, try changing that point of focus. Eventually, you'll land on something which is the perfect wild technique for you. DIY DILD. Right, so that's one way to enter a lucid dream, directly. But the other way is indirectly by having a dream-initiated lucid dream, or DILD, or what I call regained awareness lucid dreams. DILDs operate on a completely different process because you actually have to lose awareness in order to fall asleep and have a dream in order to remember or recognize that you're dreaming when you're dreaming. And there are two ways to initiate a DILD. Either you need to recognize, to notice that you're dreaming, or you need to remember that you're dreaming. So let's focus first on remembering that you're dreaming, because it's slightly easier and requires a bit less work. So a DIY DILD based on remembering requires you to set an intention to use your prospective memory to remember to do something in the future. So that could be as simple as before you go to bed, before you fall asleep, or if you wake up in the night, setting an intention, something like, in 20 minutes' time, I'll do a reality check, or in 30 minutes' time, I'll remember to check whether I'm dreaming, or I'll realize I'm dreaming. But you can add any kind of memory technique you like to this. So for example, you might set an intention at the beginning of each day that you'll remember every time you walk through a door to do a reality check. So you're setting an intention and then remembering to do the thing when it happens. And then there's noticing or recognized DILDs. These are DILDs where something in the dream makes you realize that you're dreaming. You recognize, you notice, oh, this has to be a dream. But here's the thing, you can't recognize or notice something if you're not familiar with it. And this is why keeping a dream journal is such an important part of DILD practice, because a dream journal tells you what it is you're going to recognize. So to give you an example, by keeping a dream journal, I've noticed over the past week that I've had a lot of dreams about the moon and the sky and feeling surprised. So I set the intention throughout my day and at the beginning of the night to recognize if I see the moon, the sky, or feel surprised, and when I do, I'm going to remember to do a reality check. So in order to create your own DIY DILD technique, you need to focus on things that help you to remember and to recognize. And in order to do that, you're going to need to increase your ability to notice things, to know what it is you need to notice, and to develop your ability to remember to do things in the future. So ask yourself questions like this. What kinds of dreams do I have? What happens often in my dreams? How do I feel in my dreams? What kind of thought patterns do I have in my dreams? And you'll also want to ask questions like, what kinds of things make me forget? What distracts me? When do I lose my attention? When do I not notice things? And how can I fix that? If you want to create the perfect DIY DILD technique, remember the 3 R's. Remembering, recognizing, reality testing. Putting it all together. So, you've probably noticed that every lucid dreaming technique you've ever read or heard about contains at least one, if not all, of these principles. Because it's not the technique that matters, it's not the point of focus, it's not the specific timing, it's not a recipe. It's the principles, it's the mindset that matters. Your goal isn't to come up with a perfect technique, a rigid set of steps. What you're looking to do is to understand why you do these things, and when is the right time to do them, and how your mind reacts when you try to do these things. The more you learn about yourself, the more DIY you get about lucid dreaming, the more lucid dreams you'll have. And feel free to get creative and experimental. There is no perfect technique. There is no one technique that works all the time. There is only you, your understanding, and your flexibility. Thank you to my channel benefactors, Command Baker, Rock Geezer, and Murat Yilmaz. Hit the join button to be mentioned with them in the next video. Oh, you're still here? Well, if you are, you might want to watch one of the videos on the screen right now, and why not hit that subscribe button? I'll see you there.